But at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want? Like a bunch of followers who don't buy anything, or like a smaller amount of followers who are actually valuable, who are actually there because you're putting out good information. And those are usually the people that are actually going to support your business.
One of the fastest rising fitness influencers on the web, with nearly 1 million Instagram followers, his own online coaching business, and an upcoming workout program branded by Men's Health. The celebrity fitness trainer from Austin, Texas, who specializes in unconventional training, talks about what it took to develop and launch his highly successful fitness app in the middle of a pandemic. We also discuss how his workload and lifestyle challenged his immune system and put him out of action for 6 weeks with COVID-19. If you're not convinced about COVID or what the journey to recovery looks like, even if you have the physique and endurance of an elite athlete, then I really think you'll enjoy this week's episode with the Primal Swoledier, Mr. Eric Leija. Thanks for inviting us to the gym. It's been a while.
Welcome. Hope you enjoyed the grand tour. Yeah, it's been a long time. How long has it been? Like a year and a half?
Yeah, I think
2018.
so. We were sitting on some sort of rooftop in downtown LA, I think, last time.
Was it Santa Monica?
Santa Monica, yeah.
Santa Monica.
He was running courses back then.
Yeah, I was doing workshops all around the country, man. So that was fun. But that's all come to a halt now that, with the whole pandemic and stuff going on. Just been staying home mostly. I haven't even been coming in the gym a lot, but looking forward to, now that things have calmed down, start coming back in.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, we're at the On It gym right now. This is On It headquarters as well. This is where it all started. I used to work in the On It warehouse about 6 years ago. I worked in the On It warehouse for 2 years, packing supplements, shipping off gear to people, and worked in fulfillment. And, I kind of didn't really think much of it. I really enjoyed the community. Everybody was super, super awesome and open-minded. Everybody was into working out and MMA. I was super into MMA, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, and I was just like, I was at home, We used to fly in a bunch of UFC fighters that we sponsored, and it was like it was like my dream come true, I got to meet Joe Rogan, all these cool people in the MMA community, so I was like not complaining. I was like, I'll work in the warehouse forever. And then we're like, you know what? We're selling kettlebells, steel maces, battle ropes, all these unconventional tools. We should probably show people how to use them. And so John Wolf, Shane Hines, my brother, they all came up with this awesome education system, certification, and opened the gym. I became one of the first coaches, and the rest is history. I learned a ton. Coaching certifications for On It. Specifically the kettlebell certification. I was one of the head coaches for that. And now I kind of threw my own twist on kettlebell training. Kettlebell Flows have become really popular, in the last few years. I was kind of one of the guys that started doing that, kind of brought that onto the scene just because, kettlebells were like the only tools that we had around here. So I started mixing it up, having fun with them, and people seem to love it. Social media blew up thanks to Joe Rogan. He gave me like a big shout out one day on his Instagram, and so then that helped out. I reached more people, and I was eventually able to launch my own business and teach my own workshops with my girlfriend Francesca. And so that's where I met you back in Santa Monica. We were teaching a kettlebell and animal flow workshop back in the day, or a couple years ago, and we've been doing that ever since. And we had a whole roster lined up for this year, like at least 2 every month all over the country. But obviously that didn't happen. So we're pushing that, see how when that'll happen. Hopefully next year we'll get those back on the books. But until then, just playing it safe and trying to stay healthy and keep things going.
Yeah. So with the whole sort of pandemic then, how have you sort of shifted your business from, because I guess, doing all those face-to-face kettlebell workshops, so did the business just come to a halt, or did you have to sort of transition online?
Well, thankfully, my business has always been online. Like my website, I always sold a kettlebell course on there, which was basically all my knowledge on kettlebells online, videos, me taking people through all the fundamental movements, how to warm up, cool down, even some animal flow movements in there. So that was like my main product that I launched on my website back like almost 3 years ago now. And I also launched a couple other online video programs. So when the pandemic hit, thankfully I was already in that space with online workouts. I even had my app that launched during the summer. Thankfully business didn't come to a halt. It actually kind of did kind of help a little bit because people were stuck at home, and most of my workouts can be done with minimal equipment. I'm the kettlebell guy, so a lot of my programs you only need a single kettlebell. So thankfully business was good, even though we didn't get to travel and do the workshops. For me, the workshops haven't always been like the big, money bringer. For me, it's just been kind of a way to communicate and interact with my most valued customers, the people who really believe in the stuff that I do, and they're willing to come support me and come see me in their city and pay like a higher ticket item to come train with me. For me, those are the type of people that I really want to connect with, not because they're paying me the most amount of money, but because obviously they believe in what I'm doing, and they're gonna go out and teach other people and show people my stuff. And from history, like for me, the stuff that I do is kind of complicated. Doing kettlebell training, not anybody can just pick up a kettlebell and swing it around and do these kettlebell flows. So that's why, for me, it's like I'm really proud of being able to do this for people, or do this with them and teach them so that they can really hone their skills, because they're representing me and my techniques and the way that I like to do things. I can't have somebody going out there saying, oh, I did a kettlebell workshop with Eric, and here's how I move. I want to make sure they're a good representation of everything that I've learned from my coaches through On It, and from the years of workshops that I've done with some of the top coaches in the industry who've taught me so much. And I want to make sure that I'm really passing down the torch, and they're teaching their friends, the best way to do it and not getting hurt. So for me, it's like being able to spread my sphere of influence in a positive way, not just trying to make as many sales as possible, pack as many people into one room and teach them how to do a kettlebell swing. It's, really, making sure we take our time. We have like a 5-hour limit for our workshops, but usually they go over, because we want to make sure we answer everybody's questions and make sure everybody in the room, leaves better than how they came in, not more messed up. So that for me, that's the one thing that I really miss, since having to work from home and only focus on the online side of things, is that communication with the clients and the community. That's why I'm kind of itching to come back and teach classes here On It. That one-on-one connection with people, not just one-on-one with like one-on-one clients, but with people in general in large group classes, is you get to see your programming in action and see what works and what doesn't, how you can scale back, how you can scale up. And so that's one big thing that's been missing. But thankfully, I can kind of mimic that a little bit by bringing on friends and clients to come train with me at home. And it's been kind of giving me a better view. But I'm definitely looking forward to getting back out there, training more and more people that are diverse. Not everybody, not just training with another savage like myself, but people of all levels, so that I can have that experience and know what other people are going through, not just what works for me. I feel like if you want to be the most successful, you have to look at things from different perspectives and put out programs and products that reach more people, not just like a selective group of people. Like if I only programmed the workouts that I do every day, I wouldn't be very successful. There's a very small margin of people who are going to be buying my crazy workouts. And if they're advanced enough, they're probably doing their own thing. Yeah. So that's why I'm really looking forward for this whole pandemic to come to an end, so I can be together with the community again.
Yeah. You mentioned that earlier off camera. We were talking about some of the stuff that you do, and it's awesome stuff, but extremely complicated and probably not something that everybody can pick up on. And I suppose if you're setting up a business or an online business or an app, I guess it's easy to, I suppose, cater for what you're interested in, as opposed to realizing what the mass population is interested in. So what's your experience been? Because you've been doing this for a while now. Do you find out that the majority of people just want something stupidly simple?
Yeah, man. I feel like, not stupidly simple, but fun, and something's overly complicated and challenging and they can't even get through the first round without it, either the skill being too difficult or just being too hard. For most people, like the general population who just kind of want to get a sweat, most people work 9-to-5 jobs and they just want to squeeze in a workout during lunch. My goal is to not get them to look like me. If they want to look like me, it's going to take years. If you want to look like a bodybuilder or you want to perform like a CrossFit athlete, like you really have to dedicate your life and hours to be a professional. But if you just want to be healthy and strong, which from my experience and years in training clients, is most people just they don't want to look like that. They don't want to be these crazy juiced up meatheads. They just want to be strong, healthy, and have longevity so that they can hang out with their kids, and de-stress. And for me, if you're having somebody do this crazy complicated movement, it's only going to make them more stressed out. Yeah. So definitely, I've come to understand that if you can really simplify things and challenge people to just show up and do the workout, you can have a lot greater success. And
I think the problem is that in a lot of cases, a lot of fitness products, they show somebody like you, and then it's like, you can look like this in 90 days. And,
yeah.
And I suppose it's interesting that someone like you is saying this. You've got a pretty big social media following, but almost like telling them, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I'm still struggling with trying to get that across to people. I post up workouts all the time where I'm doing something that, might be a simple routine, like a 5-round little workout, 5-round, 3 exercise ab circuit, and then people are like, oh, this is all I need to get a 6-pack. I'm like, nah, man, this is just what I'm doing right now. I've been doing this for years. You don't see behind the scenes, which I'm trying to do a better job of, is showing people what I eat, nutrition, everything behind the scenes. There's tons of things that go into, trying to be as fit as you can possibly be, and that's, your nutrition, your recovery, how much sleep you get, and not going hard in the gym all the time. It's not all about just grinding yourself into the floor all the time. It's about, really having a plan and being consistent so you don't burn out. We were talking off camera earlier about how, a lot of athletes, are afraid to get injured, and they don't want to ruin their career by going super hard all the time. And they're starting to realize, you don't need to go hard all the time. Especially for the coaches, from their point of view, back in the day, we would probably see all these montages of, Rocky going hard in the gym and just training super hard in the fridge, beating up the meat. It's like, you don't got to go that hard all the time. There's time and place for when you need to train hard, but for the most part, it's just about trying to stay injury-free and focus on some of your weaknesses so that you don't end up getting hurt on the field. And for me, it's just trying to get that point across to people too. It's like, you don't need to go hard all the time. There's time and place. If you really want to, go hard, we program that into some of our workouts, but for the most part, it's just about 95% of the time focusing on your foundations, your mobility, strength, and then the rest will come later. It's like a lot of people have this romantic view of fitness where they think it's like the crazy kettlebell flows that I do. That makes up 5% of what I actually do. People got to understand what you see on social media is like the highlight reel. That's why it's kind of crazy to me, when I hear about people being stressed out because, they're taught crap about social media because it gives this false view of life. And for me, it's like, I just feel sorry, man, for those kind of people that really believe that that's what life is like. How long has TV been around where you see reality TV? It's like, it's not real. No. It's just like a projection of, unfortunately on reality TV, it's like crazy and funny and stupid and these acted out scenes. It's the same thing on social media. You're seeing the best part of something to, usually try to sell you something.
Yeah. And to get your attention.
Yeah, get your attention. Yeah. Get your attention. And then once they get you, to buy their stuff or to go to their site, then they give you the full picture. So that's why I try to urge people not to get, tricked or confused or even upset about, what they see on Instagram. It's just like, it's like a bunch of commercials, it's like ads, You know, it's for me, I appreciate that kind of stuff. I love a good ad. I love, seeing people's highlight reels because I know that what it takes to get there, to be successful at anything and to get in tip-top shape like they are. It isn't just that, 5-minute workout that they put up. It's a lot more to it. And if you stop and listen to them and don't just look at the surface stuff, they'll, if you ask them questions, a lot of the good people online, the good influencers, they'll give you some good advice. So that's another thing where I've heard like there's so much hate online too from a lot of like really elite strength coaches, who talk a lot of crap about all these social media influencers. And I mean, I get what they're coming from, but at the end of the day, man, nobody's an expert at anything, and everybody's just trying to get better and trying to be successful, and I pride myself on being one of the guys who does his best to keep getting educated and keep learning from the best and put out only stuff that I have experience with and not trying to make things up and trying to fool people. But it's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to, show people the full picture in a 15-second clip.
Yeah.
So I don't try to say that these things are going to give you these results. It's just what I like to do today. It's what I did today. It's what I usually do. But if you want the full picture, you need to hire a professional coach or talk to me. Come check out my website, my stuff, where everything's really broken down for you.
Yeah.
People get caught up on instant gratification,
Yeah.
and they think they can put together programs from the highlight reels that they see from people online, and it's just not going to work, because you're going to burn out doing all those really hard routines. You really have to build a strong foundation before you, even if you do, end up doing that stuff later on, you do it sparingly.
Do you find that the sort of algorithms work against what's right? So, for example, you've got close to 1 million followers on Instagram, I think. If you're honest and say, look, this is the stuff you need to do, and it's a little bit boring, how does that perform against the real crazy, freaky stuff, which looks really nice? What performs better?
Oh, definitely the crazy stuff, and anything that's like outlandish, like even when it comes to like political stuff or conspiracies, anything that's crazy, anything about aliens, anything that's like flashy, sex sells, man. People want to see things that catch their attention, and a lot of people nowadays, they're really starting to do a good job of looking the part, but also giving people what they want, but also what they need, and I pride myself on, doing my best to be a good example of, looking healthy, looking strong, having, aesthetically pleasing videos that, are filmed with high quality cameras. I do my best to, be lean and in shape, but also try to show people that, I don't just train hard all the time. I also work on mobility. I work on body weight moves to help me, stay mobile. I don't just, lift heavy weights and do really, really tough bodybuilding workouts all the time to work on my aesthetics. I also focus on my health. I focus on recovery. But like you're asking, how does that stuff perform? Like me foam rolling or showing a mobility move compared to like a crazy kettlebell flow or deadlifting 500 pounds. Yeah, they usually don't do as well. But as an influencer who's reaching, so many people, you have to, be accountable, hold yourself accountable and show people, do your best to show people what's really going on behind the scenes. I understand you don't want to show the whole picture, and, 'cause some people feel like, oh, I don't want to give everybody the whole thing because they're not going to buy it because I'm giving them everything for free. But for me, in my experience, I always see, the more that you give, you're going to get back. So I try to give as much as I can, not being afraid to give out my whole routines because at the end of the day, people aren't paying to do your workouts. Nobody has the most unique workouts. I didn't make anything up. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. My workout's not different from any other badass coach out there, man. It's like people are gonna pay for your stuff if they like you as a person, as a coach, and they vibe with you. They're not just buying your workout because you got the best workouts. They like your personality, And so that's one big piece of advice I like to give a lot of upcoming coaches or people who are trying to build up their social media is don't be afraid to put yourself out there, give out free workouts, free information, because they're not paying for the workouts. They're paying to support you because you're a good person. And so to continue being a good person, you got to give people the truth, don't just give them a bunch of bullcrap workouts, highlight reels all the time. It's hard though, man, because you see that stuff perform well and that stuff boosts up your social media, helps you get more followers. But at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want? Like a bunch of followers who don't buy anything, or like a smaller amount of followers who are actually valuable, who are actually there because you're putting out good information. And those are usually the people that are actually going to support your business. Not everybody who's just watching you because you look sexy or something. It's like you want to have a valuable audience.
Yeah, and you've got, since we last met, I can't remember what it was, but it looked, I think you've like quadrupled or at least tripled, and like nearly 1 million people. That's quite a responsibility. How does that feel? I guess have you now having that amount of influence? If you put 1 million people into a place, like that's a lot of people.
Man. It sounds like a lot.
And also it's not just. It's not just eyeballs, and I know certain people see it and certain don't, but I guess, if you say something, then there's a lot of people of all different ages and abilities that are looking up to you and saying, right, we're going to follow what he says. How do you feel about that responsibility?
I'll let them know, first and foremost, I'm not a doctor. Don't take medical advice from me. If you're seriously injured, you got any underlying issues, go talk to a professional. I'm going to talk to you and teach you based on my experience. And so I like to be real with people, and that's why I'm super selective about the people that I partner up with. Especially nowadays with social media, there's a lot of companies who want to partner up with influencers so that they can promote their products. I got tons of people reaching out to me all the time trying to get me to sell these new teas or this new pill that'll help you lose weight in 30 days or a scale that can read your brain. I don't know, all kinds of stuff, man. And I'm just like, I'm not going to promote that, the bullcrap product to people and then lose my integrity, because then I have people buying that and then realizing it's just a garbage. I'd rather maintain my integrity, grow slowly. I might have quadrupled in the last however long it's been, but that's because, the way the social media works, the algorithms and stuff, I've been lucky to, have stuff that's been popular, but it goes up and down, man, depending on what new features they have on the app. Like now they have reels, and before they had stories that had just come out. So you, as a person who's trying to grow on social media, you really have to be on top of your game when it comes to all these new things that are coming out, because the algorithm and these apps really favor all these new features they're adding, because they want those features to do well, so they help promote the people who are using those new features. So if I'm trying to grow on Instagram right now that Reels just came out, I should probably be doing a lot of Reels. But I don't really like Snapchat. I don't really like the Reels. They're all right. They're kind of cool, but it's hard to show people an exercise, which is my business, is showing people how to work out in those 15 seconds. So I'm having fun with it, but at my own pace. I'm not concerned, like I said, with growing as big as possible, as fast as possible. For me, it's all about quality. If I can maintain the guys that I have now and grow slowly, I'm totally fine with that, and just trying to keep it real, man.
How long, if you looked at your typical week outside of all your different things you do, how much time do you spend in terms of creating content and then actually sort of posting and engaging with the community on Instagram? In terms of hours,
it's
roughly.
A full-time job, man.
Really?
Yeah, filming content. When I'm really on my game, I'll film content like at least every day for 2 to 3 hours. Yeah, and then every morning I try to post for about like 2 hours. Like it takes me, if I'm really on my game, I'll get my content ready to post like the day before. And then I'll post it the next morning, and then I'll engage with people for a couple hours. Like an hour in the morning I'll post it. I'll engage for an hour, and then I'll spend like the next 30 minutes, the last 90 minutes just kind of in between as I'm warming up from my workout in the morning. And so I would say about 2 hours in the morning on social media, and then 2 hours at night.
Right.
And then working on programming in between, working on the actual work, actually putting the content together for the website, for the actual workout programs.
That's quite a commitment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a full-time job, man. You know, but
do you have a team of people with you?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
You know, thankfully now I have a team.
What sort of people are in your team then?
I have, people that help me with my emails, people that help me run ads on Facebook. And you guys were talking crap earlier about how you can't get on my page without getting targeted with ads. That's just testament to how awesome my team is. But yeah, dude, there's all kinds of stuff behind the scenes, customer service. It's cool, man. Having a large team, but it's all about quality too. So I make sure I do my best to communicate with the team as much as possible, be around to answer questions, and make sure we're all on the same page. Because it can be difficult, man, if you hire a team and then things are going different ways. They see a different vision. I see what I want. It's about having that synergy and working together to unify the vision so that we can really have a solid brand. Yeah, so it's good though. Things are going great. With my app, they've been a huge help putting everything together for that, and we're excited to keep it going strong here going into 2021 and providing these more minimal equipment, kettlebell workouts, which I've already been really big in, but I took a big drift away from that for the last year before March or before the pandemic hit. I was really set on trying to keep it real with people, because I was tired of people asking me, oh, is this all it takes to get like you doing this kettlebell flow? I'm like, no, it's not all it takes. Let me show you. So that's why in my actual programming for my app, I started doing what I actually do. And I realized, man, these are really hard workouts. People were complaining. They're like, man, these workouts take too long. I'm in the gym for an hour and a half. It's so complicated. It's too advanced. And I'm like, man, they're right. It took me 15 years to get to this level. How am I going to expect to get through to people who are just starting out, and trying this program that they're buying from me online? So that's why I'm scaling back on the intensity of my workouts. I'm still going to be putting out what I do I feel like it's a small amount of the population who want that, and focusing on more people that just are getting started with minimal equipment, with kettlebells, and really going back to my roots of, showing people that you don't need a whole gym and barbells and treadmill or, all this crazy equipment to get a workout in. You can just grab a couple dumbbells, a kettlebell, and get a sweat in. Because my goal is to get people's foot in the door, get them active, get them feeling good, and feel the benefits of starting to move. And doing even it might be a simple workout, they're not going to be simple. They're still going to be fun and challenging. And for me, it's just to show them the power of working out, of movement, and then lead them down another path if they want. If they want to get shredded, if they want to bulk up, if they want to train for endurance or for sport, I'll lead them in the right direction. But first and foremost, I have to reach those people first and get them to stick it out, and be consistent. And you can't get people, to stick around if it's too difficult or the skills are too hard to acquire.
Particularly if it's virtual, I guess. You've not got those people in front of you to get the feedback on.
Yeah, so my goal going into the new year is to do more live workouts, kind of like P90X or beach body. I just say, the one thing I've been thinking about is, what's been successful in the past? It's why try to change it? These people who have been killing it in Beachbody and P90X, and they kill it because people can just press play, follow along, and they don't really have to think about it. And I feel like that's the best way to reach people who are busy, who are working 9-to-5 jobs, and they're a little intimidated of going to a gym. If you try my videos, do my single kettlebell workout, all you need is one kettlebell or one dumbbell, and you can get your foot in the door and start moving. And then eventually you'll build up the confidence to, really start doing some more advanced stuff.
So what have you learned about apps? I guess it's a very crowded space. People are chucking huge amounts of money at creating fitness apps, and I guess probably the majority of them succeed are very small. And now with COVID, or you've got a lot of, I guess you're competing with fitness clubs that are now doing online stuff. What have you learned about apps over this sort of period, and how important has it been to sort of have had that sort of foundation of your brand on something like Instagram before you kicked it off? I guess two questions in one, really.
Dude, I think it's a smart move on all these companies, from Apple to Samsung and all these other big companies trying to jump on the bandwagon to provide fitness content online. I don't think it's going to saturate the market. I think, it's just going to provide more options for people. There's enough to go around. There's enough clients, customers, and everybody's going to find their niche and the thing that they vibe with. And a lot of people are looking at it in a bad way. I think it's awesome, man, and it's only going to help. It's like, I don't know, like how capitalism is, where it's like competition breeds, better products. And so I feel like it's only going to make the online businesses even better. It's going to make the users happier. It's going to make our business keep growing, because we're going to have access to, seeing how Apple's doing it, how Samsung's doing it, and trying to replicate that, and, taking the best parts of the most successful people and trying to make your own thing and reach your audience. Like I was saying earlier, people aren't buying workouts from people because they're the best workouts or they got the best apps. They're supporting you because they like you and your personality. And if you have a great app to go along with it that's functional and user friendly, even better. Mm-hmm. But the goal is to just see what's out there first and try to keep up, or not necessarily keep up, but don't be afraid, and intimidated, but just try to see what other people are doing. Spend $10 to subscribe to an app, do some market research, try out what other people are doing and see how you can implement that into your app that you're thinking about developing. And so that's one big thing I've been doing, is researching how other people who are doing what I've been doing or who are successful in my business, and trying to replicate or reinvent or kind of borrow some of their ideas. And so far it's been super successful. What I've really been seeing is that what's the most valuable thing is not having the flashiest, most awesome app, but actually communicating with the clients, and actually building a strong community where you're holding people accountable. Off camera, we were talking about one of your buddies who has a business where he takes on a certain amount of clients and charges a higher ticket price. And I think that's awesome, because he actually, communicates with those people, gives them their meal plans, texts them, and has calls with them and holds them accountable. And it's something that actually works. It's not just like a quick or like a subscription service that really doesn't deliver much. I think the most successful people in the future coming up is going to be the people who can offer a competitive price, like a subscription, but also offer that type of experience where they're actually pushing the people, holding them accountable, and just having to find that balance between providing a product that's affordable, but also holds people accountable and helps them see results. Yeah. Because anybody can put out workouts.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of free stuff out there as well, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. You can find a solid workout online from anybody. But the thing is are these people actually going to get results? And the best way to do that is to have a coach who's holding you accountable. And so that's why I think this online fitness stuff is going to do great. Like, I even know coaches who had in-person clients who there's one guy, he moved from his state, moved to Austin. Now he's training in Austin, and his clients are still calling him and paying him by the hour to train them over FaceTime, because it's like they're comfortable with him as a coach, and he doesn't have to be there, as long as, he's talking to them, guiding them through the workout. That's just as good. So if you can transform that type of experience into an app and scale, you'll be super successful. So that's why I'm looking forward to trying to go be more engaging with my audience and my followers, and providing some more accessible workouts that aren't terribly difficult but still challenging and fun.
Yeah. I think that's the thing against compared to the free stuff. I think it's like you say, it's being able to have that interaction, and I suppose having a big community like you have, where you're already engaging with them. I suppose you've probably got a head start from a company that's going to chuck $1 million into it and start from scratch, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Do you think that you're if you look at the challenges of building a successful app, do you think that audience, getting that audience is a big hurdle for somebody who's starting from scratch?
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased, because I wasn't lucky, man. Like, it was hard growing, but I just did it without, not trying, but I didn't stress about it. Like, I just kind of focused on producing stuff that I thought worked for me and my clients, and from my experience was stuff that I liked, and it just so happened to be cool looking, and so people started following me, and they dig my workouts. And like I said, man, it just comes down to personality. If you really put yourself out there and you're not a dick, if you're nice, you give away free stuff, and you communicate with people, you comment back to people online, it shows that you actually care, and people want to vibe with you and support you, so the more you give. I remember for a large amount of my sales for my first product that I ever came out with, people didn't even finish the program. They didn't complain. I could see their progress. They were some people even emailed, hey man, I love your program, but honestly, I'm just supporting you because, you've given me so much stuff in these past years, and I just want to support your business because I like what you're doing.
So you built up that sort of value where people, if you've got a product, people
they'll support
pay
you.
it
And
back.
that's how I feel too, man. When I see a band that I really like, and they're super cool people, and they put something out, or they're a small business, I promote them because, I want them to be successful because they provide value to my life. They make me happy. I want to see them succeed. And so I feel like that's how people should try to think about when they're trying to start a business, is not just trying to come up with a product that you think is going to be the greatest product ever and it's going to be better than everybody out there, but trying to put out something that's going to make people happy, and it's going to make people, appreciate you for giving to the community and providing something of value that helps people want to be better in life. Providing actual products that make a difference. So
I think that's a good point, and we've spoke about it earlier as well. But I think a lot of people could spend a lot of time on their sales and their marketing, which is obviously important. We've all got to do that. But I guess if you've got a fantastic product that does what it says it does, or over exceeds what people expect, then it makes that sales and marketing way easier. You haven't got to force anyone, twist their arm behind the back to buy it. It's like, look, here it is. Tell me if you think it's good.
Exactly. Yeah, but I think it comes down to having that trust with people, and that's why I think a lot of companies are starting to see the reach that influencers on social media are having, because they have their small group or large group of people that they know, that they believe in. They follow them, and they don't follow Nike or follow all Under Armour. They follow this guy because they want to be like him, and they believe him, they trust him. They don't trust this huge corporation. But if they partner up, and if that person believes in that product, then they'll buy it from them because they trust them. And so that's why I think it's also important to maintain your integrity by promoting products you actually believe in, and not just anything that's going to get you a paycheck. I understand everybody's got to eat, everybody's got to get paid, but having that scarcity mindset is only going to put you in that situation more and more often than not. You really got to, for me, in my experience, it's all been about dealing when things get tough. Just stay focused and believe in what you're doing. And if it's not working, then you probably need to go back to the drawing board and switch it up, think of something else. Because if it's not successful, it's probably not connecting with everybody. And so you still want to connect with people. Don't dig yourself into a deeper hole, but don't be afraid to try new things, and don't be afraid to give, because if it works, people are gonna respond, and they're gonna respect you because you're giving out truth, not just promoting a bunch of crappy products, trying to make a quick buck. It's like you want to have that integrity so that people keep coming back. And that's been, for me, it's just trying to maintain that integrity and keep, trying to keep it real, but at the same time, man, you want to give people what they want, and people want to have fun. And, so we were talking about this earlier about how my iPhone started bunking out on me. It's like, I guess because they have a new iPhone coming out probably in a couple months. Me and my girlfriend were talking about it. She's like, yeah, it's called planned obsolescence or something like that. Planned obsolete, something like that. But something where your phone starts to crap out on you so they can make you buy the new product. So I feel like, where was I going with that?
Well, I guess it's like an inbuilt, like they already sort of say, after 3 years, kind of self-destruct. It's already
exactly.
inbuilt.
Yeah, so then I was like, yeah, that's crazy. Why don't they build a phone that's like super high quality and lasts a really long time?
I guess it's not a great business model,
because it's not a great business model. And also, people aren't going to like something that's, super, because they ended up making a phone like that apparently.
Really?
That you can kind of upgrade on the go. And it's like supposed to be like the perfect product because it's going to last you forever. But at the end of the day, it didn't work out. Even though it was the best product, it didn't do well with the masses, because the masses want something flashy. New. They want the new iPhone with the new cameras, and that looks nice. It's waterproof, So the goal is not just having something that works and it's going to last a long time. That's going to give people real results. But you also got to give people what they want. They want you to look the part. Like, I have to be in shape. I have to be jacked and shredded. I can't just be that fat coach with a whistle telling people that if they do this workout, they're going to look, how they want to look or get results. Sure, those coaches are awesome. They're super intelligent and they have a lot of experience. But when it comes to, the general population, sure, that might work for like a professional athlete. You might get them to where they want to be and get them millions of dollars, but to make the general population, people who are working 9 to 5s, and get them in the gym and working out,
inspired.
You want to give them something fancy, something fun and fancy that also works. So my big thing is giving people what they want while also giving them what they need.
So do you think, like, you've taken a product that's been around forever, a kettlebell and a dumbbell, and I'm not sure whether you invented it, but you certainly seem to be known with it, this kind of flow or animal flow part to kettlebells. What was that, something that was intentional? Did it kind of take off by accident, or what? Tell us about.
I honestly don't know how long it's been around. I'm not saying I'm the one that came up with it, but I definitely became known as the Kettlebell Flow guy, and it just it kind of just happened by accident. I was just messing around with some kettlebells, combining a couple different movements. I remember I was super busy, had clients back to back, and I had like short intervals where I can get workouts. So I thought, why don't I just grab a couple kettlebells and combine a squat with a clean and a press and do like a compound or a complex movement in a sequence and have fun and move around in different angles so I can, stay mobile as well. And it kind of just took off because people saw it as I can get jacked and in shape with these flow movements. But my goal has been to tell people, like, this isn't all I did to look like this and to perform like this. This is like the pinnacle of my training. It's like the cherry on top. Being able to move athletically with load and do these flow movements. It's like something you have to master.
I guess it's aspirational, isn't it?
Yeah, it's aspirational. Yeah, so I'm trying to teach people. Once they get on my website, they see the real programs. You're like, oh, okay.
Build up now.
Yeah, so they're also less intimidated, where they can actually do the programs and build their foundations and see that 95% of my programming isn't kettlebell flows. It's like something you do sparingly, usually as a finisher or as a warm-up or as an on-the-go workout, like I was doing back in the day. For 20 minutes, I'll do a kettlebell flow just to get a sweat. But if I'm really trying to build strength, power, athleticism, I do, really particular programming for those specific goals, using overload with barbells or do sprinting, real specific training for those goals. and using the kettlebells as one of my tools. And that's just all it is, though. It's a tool, just like everything else. It's all comes down to the methodology and the foundation that you have. So then where you can start expanding out and using these different tools to get the job done. And so my big job has been to, like I said earlier, is giving them what they want, these flashy, fun aspirations with the kettlebell flows, but then giving them what they actually need, which is the foundation, teaching them how to use the kettlebell, how to do a clean, how to do a swing, how to do a hinge, how to do a proper deadlift, how to do a proper plank, a push-up, so that they can actually do the basics first and get the most out of the basics before they start doing anything crazy. And people really value that too. When they buy my Primal Kettlebell course, they think, I'm going to learn how to do these crazy kettlebell flows. They get in and they jump in, and the first, 2 segments are just warming up. And then they realize, like, man, this actually makes you feel really good. And they leave, they finish the course, they go through all the movements, they learn how to swing, how to snatch, and they send me an email saying, man, I really loved all the content, but my favorite part was the mobility. I never felt so good after doing some shoulder stretches and learning how to really warm up before a workout. And a lot of people really value that type of stuff. So that's one big thing is, learning that you don't have to grind people into the ground and throw everything in the kitchen sink at them to see results. It's like when it comes to people who are just starting out, it's, just giving them nuggets of information that are going to make a big difference, not trying to just crush them every workout. And so that's been super valuable, is teaching people that it's not just about training hard, but also about, building a strong foundation, taking your time, taking it one step at a time, and, eventually getting to where you want to be. But, it's all about consistency and dedication, and it all comes slow. But the things that last long are the things that are earned, and that's why I feel like the customers that appreciate that type of information and content and products, they're the ones that are going to stick around as well, because you're giving them quality information.
Yeah, and they'll keep coming back because they're able to stick with it as well.
Yep.
Do you think that you obviously you're the first person I've met that's actually had COVID?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never met. I didn't. I thought it might have been. Yeah. So you're real. You've had it.
Nah, man, it's crazy. Yeah, it affects people differently, man.
But
it definitely hit me hard.
Has your sort of approach to working out and training, like I know we spoke in the car a little bit about how you prior to this you were sort of a little bit run down, not had too much sleep, but has your approach to health and fitness and wellness changed since going through that?
Oh yeah, man. I realized I thought I was healthy, and on the outside people might think, oh, you're jacked and in shape and you work out all the time. Like, how did you get sick? You're healthy, you're in shape. I'm like, yeah, but I was stressed out because I was so lean. I was in a caloric deficit for so long. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was putting myself in dangerous situations or more susceptible situations, like going to a protest, going out with people, being around a ton of people at one time while being in this susceptible state where I was, really run down, training really hard, filming a ton of videos. I was really trying to capitalize on the whole, pandemic situation and trying to film as much content as I possibly could for my app that I was trying to launch at the time. So I ended up being burnt out, man, and I think that's why I got sick.
Really?
And so I realized, like, man, I got to stop doing that to myself. I got to stop going into these marathon parts of my life where I get really in shape and then I try to shoot as much content as possible. Now I'm really trying to, practice what I preach. I tend to, it's my business, man. It's hard to film videos and do my own type of training, and really practice what you preach when you're constantly having to shoot content. So I'm trying to take a step back and really take care of my health so that I can be able to keep doing this for a long time and actually, like I said, practice what I preach, because I know what it takes. I do it with my clients. It works. They get healthy. They feel good, and they ended up, being pain-free or in less pain. But I wasn't doing what I was telling other people to do. I was.
So were you, when that happened, like, and we'll come on to that in a minute, but do you think then your body was sort of, you know, your immune system probably wasn't what it was, and it was a bit broken down, and really?
I definitely, maybe I wasn't eating enough and I was training too hard, not getting enough sleep. I definitely think my immune system was compromised. I was super lean, so
yeah. Because when someone said you had it, I thought I like, wow, he's super fit. You know, I can't believe it.
But there's a bunch of underlying stuff, man. Yeah.
So how did you get it?
Dude, I went to one of the Black Lives Matter protests, and I think that's probably what did it, man. Being around tons of people like that.
Because you had a mask.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. You know, I had a mask. Everybody there had a mask, and everybody I went with, they didn't get sick. So I don't know what it was. Maybe I went to the gas station and I was being irresponsible. I don't know. But I went to one of those protests, and 4 days later, I was feeling super sick.
But I think it took 4 days.
4 days after I had gone to that protest, I got super sick.
And what was the first sort of symptoms that you felt coming on?
So like I said, it might have been like me, a combination of being stressed out, exposing myself to a bunch of people, and having a compromised immune system from just being super lean and filming all the time. I came to On It one night to film till like 12 in the morning. I had some demo videos that I needed to shoot for my app. So I knocked those out. I was so happy, celebrating. We finally crossed the finish line, at least for the content that we needed for launch. And so I went home, I was grubbing, and all of a sudden I started feeling really dizzy. So I was like, man, I'm gonna take a bath. I threw some Epsom salt in the bath. I started soaking. Next thing I know, man, I felt super sick. As soon as I hopped out the bathtub, I felt really dizzy. I passed out. I woke up sweating, fevers and chills, and I was out for 4 weeks, man. I was super sick. Yeah, so like I said, I think it was a combination of exposing myself to more people than necessary, and then stress by training hard, filming for hours on end.
So when you sort of like the day after, then like what was that? Were you sort of like loss of energy? I know they talk about a lot of the breathing. You know, what bits did you sort of notice more than anything?
The fever.
The fever.
My fever. I had like 101 fever. And I was sweating all night. I couldn't sleep. I had to keep changing the sheets because I was just soaked, you know, freezing at night because I was so soaked in sweat. It was terrible, man. I just felt like a really massive headache. It felt like the flu.
Really?
Like flu symptoms, only it didn't go away after 3 days. I had those symptoms for 3 weeks. It was so bad. I had like 104 fever for like 5 hours straight. I was trying to take a bath to try to cool, like for some reason I thought it was gonna help. It didn't help at all. It got even hotter, and I ended up going to the ER. I thought I was dying.
What did they do there?
I had popped a bunch of ibuprofen. I took a bunch of ibuprofen before I left to the hospital. So by the time I got there, I guess the medicine started working because my fever went down, and they sent me home. They checked my lungs. My lungs were fine. I was just tripping out. Just really bad fever. So thankfully it was only as bad as like a really bad flu for 3 weeks.
What about were you eating, or did that appetite go away?
Yeah, my appetite went away. I definitely lost weight. I lost like 10 pounds.
Right.
But probably from being dehydrated, honestly. I didn't get to eat as much. I wasn't drinking enough liquids. I tried as much as I could to drink my teas that my grandma was recommending I take, and that kind of helped. But after 3 weeks, the fevers went away, but then all of a sudden I couldn't breathe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's when the lung stuff started kicking. I had like a terrible cough on the 4th week. I was like, man, it's only getting worse. You know, I thought the fever went away. I'm gonna be fine, but dude, the cough sucked so bad. It moved
to your lungs then.
Yeah, dude.
What was it, like upper, lower?
Definitely like upper. Like I could feel as soon as I took like a slight deep breath, like my lungs just started coughing up so bad, dude. And then I remember on week 5, I finally started like feeling a lot better. The cough started feeling not as bad.
What did you do for your cough to kind of calm that down?
I did like steams.
Right.
I took like some eucalyptus. I think it was eucalyptus, stewed in like some hot water with some other herbs and some lemon, and then just steamed it and just stood over it and wafted into my nose, into my breathing, and that helped a lot to kind of clear up.
Were you coughing like throughout the night or in the day?
Yeah, man. Like at random times when I would breathe, so I would have to take really small breaths so I didn't have a coughing attack. But it was hard, man. Like just getting out of bed too fast, I would take like a big breath and I would start seasoning out with like a really terrible cough. It was so bad, man. I was so mad.
How did you, in terms of your recovery then, because I guess what you do, you know, like your oxygen intakes probably needs to be pretty high. Was your workouts then, you know, compromised in terms of...
I didn't work out. I didn't work out for 4 weeks straight.
Right.
I just laid around, tried to recover. It was terrible, but, you know, thankfully, you know, I recovered. Now I am working out and I feel better, but like week 5 after I got sick, the cough started feeling better and I started finally moving, doing some body weight movements, and that was hard. You know, getting back into it. I couldn't even hang from a pull-up bar because it would constrict my lungs too much, and I would start coughing just from hanging from a bar.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it was bad.
Is your sort of like kind of aerobic capacity? So have you got back to where that was at all, or have you still built working on that?
I feel like I'm pretty good, man. Like I started cranking up the intensity of my workouts. I'm now 2 months out from testing negative for the virus, and I'm finally starting to turn up the workouts, and I'm feeling great.
Do you think that you did any damage to your lungs at all?
I don't think so. I feel good. Yeah. I got a X-ray done on my lungs recently, and they said it was good. My heart's good. I have like a 41 resting heart rate, so I'm still good, still healthy. They said 41's good. I should be athletic, ready to go. So I'm going to start cranking up the intensity, start doing some conditioning workouts. I've been doing just traditional bodybuilding, strength workouts, just to kind of maintain size and strength, and not get my heart rate too high. And it's time to turn it up, though. Time to get lean.
So after going through that, like what's your experience like? You see all the arguments and debates online about this whole thing. You know, how do you see things now? Should people be genuinely scared now about going out without a mask, even though you had one on, or what's your assessment of that whole COVID thing?
Dude, honestly, man, I have no clue. It's like different for everybody, man. Like everybody's different. Yeah, depending, people might have underlying issues. People might be stressed from working so much, and you can get sick and be pretty bedridden. You know, thankfully, my business wasn't hampered while I was working. But if I was working like a normal job, being out for 4 weeks would really hurt. You know, so I can't imagine that. You know, it's probably not a good idea to close down the whole country and put everybody out of work. But at the same time, we can't, put people in danger. So I think people should just be aware. You know, it is real, it is dangerous, and the best way to, not get sick is to not be stressed out, not overwork yourself, and be healthy. You know, keep working out. Even if you're scared to go to the gym, move at home, go for a light jog. Being outdoors necessarily is not gonna make you susceptible to the virus. If you're out in the open, not in a confined space, you should be fine. So get out, get some sun. I remember when I posted up on Instagram that I was sick, Joe Rogan hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, I can't believe you got sick. You of all people, just like you were saying, like you're so in shape. You're the last person I would have thought to get sick." I was like, "I know, man. I think I was stressed out and overworked, and I went to a protest." And he's like, "Oh man, well, what were you taking? What supplements are you taking?" I was like, "Well, I'm just taking tons of magnesium for sleep and caffeine and your basic, BCAAs, nothing crazy." He's like, "Oh, were you taking vitamin D?" I was like, "No, I wasn't." He's like, "Oh, well, Dr. Rhonda Patrick said on my podcast that people who are getting severely sick with COVID are people who are usually low in vitamin D." So he said he's been pounding a ton of vitamin D every day. So I started taking 5,000 IUs a day of vitamin D, one little capsule, and I felt like, I should be all right.
Because your girlfriend, who you live with, I guess, she was with you, but she didn't get this
it affects people differently.
Right.
She was still sick, but she had digestive issues.
Right.
She had slight fevers, but she didn't nearly get it as bad as I did. She didn't have respiratory issues. So like I said, man, it's different for everybody.
Do you think she was like, some of that could be that she was just more better, like from a health perspective? Do you think she may have been in a little bit better place?
I think she was in a better place. She was getting more sleep. She wasn't overworking herself the way I was, and so definitely didn't hit her as hard. She still got it, but she didn't get the severe, the short end of the stick.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess with work, coming back to sort of the working out thing, then really, like what you do and what you're teaching, I suppose now, do you think your message to people is also going to be changed as a result of that?
Yeah, it's just, teaching people, I've been teaching them before, it's not about going hard all the time.
Yeah.
Don't stress yourself out. But what I have to do is, like I said, practice what I preach and try not to stress myself out. Try not to take on more than I can at one time. It's like, for me, it's like seeing my business grow, especially during the time of, the pandemic. Business was growing because people were at home, stuck at home. They wanted to do kettlebell workouts. So me and my business and my business team, we were like, we got to capitalize. Let's get the app launched. Let's shoot all these videos. And it was too much for my body to handle. I was already working really hard, cranking it up. During this, pandemic, put me in a risky situation, and I ended up paying for it. So my advice is to, take it one step at a time. Don't take on more than you can. Don't bite off more than you can chew. And you're still going to get to where you want to be. It might take a little bit longer.
But you don't go backwards, I think. Like in business, it's like, the sort of mantras, grind, work hard, and the same for fitness. But I think,
you won't burn out.
It's all right getting there, but if you're going to come back before you were previously, it's like, what do you gain?
Yep, you're going to burn out.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that. You don't want to take steps back. You want to keep moving forward. So it's like the tortoise in the hare. Exactly, man. Like you don't want to go really hard and then have to take naps halfway through the race. You want to be the tortoise and just take it one step at a time and get to where you want to be and actually finish and move on to the next thing. Not get crushed during halfway through a project and have to take steps back. You want to keep going forward. So
a couple of questions before we finish. But before that, if people want to find out about your app, where can they get in touch with you then, Eric?
Yeah, you can check out my app on the App Store or the Android Store. It's a Primal Fit app, where you can check me out on Instagram, Primal Swoledier. I post a bunch of free workouts on there, but like we were talking about earlier, they're not the full workouts. I don't try to build a program off of all the stuff you see on Instagram. Check out my website, ericleija.com, and check me out. I'll be updating that with some live workouts pretty soon, so that'll be fun.
Excellent. So what's next for Eric then? What's your plans over the next 12 to 24 months?
Keep working on the app. There's a bunch of companies that want to collaborate, and I might be doing that. Like I said, I like to not have a scarcity mindset. There's like big companies that have been reaching out, and I want to be a part of that stuff too, because I feel like my business will be fine. Like I'm not afraid to share some of the load or some of the success with like a bigger company, because it's only going to create more exposure. So for me, I want to keep collaborating with big people, big companies, so that I can keep growing and reaching more people. And ultimately, hopefully things get better, man. I want to travel. I want to keep reaching the people at my workshops. Hopefully take it global. Try to go around the world, not just in America. And hopefully, hoping for the best. The country's in a turmoil right now. The world's crazy. I don't know if it's just the media that's just promoting this stuff more, but it seems to be pretty crazy out there. So I'm just hoping for the best and hoping everybody's safe out there, and seeking the truth and information that's gonna not scare you and keep you happy, and try not to get stressed out. Don't get sick, but don't be afraid to take control of your life and be happy.
Yeah, I think it's good to have this conversation, because you read so much crap in the media, and I suppose that's the benefit of things like the podcast, where you can actually you can get some real advice. It's not sugar coated. It's like, here it is, and people can make their own decisions. But I think nowadays there's just so much misinformation out there, in all areas of life. So it's been great to to hear this from you. So final question then, what Escape Your Limits is about escaping what you've believed is impossible and made it possible. What recently have you done where you've escaped your own personal limits?
Finally letting go of, for me, it's been, trying not to do too much at one time. My personality is go, go, go. Don't say no. Just keep taking advantage of every opportunity and, do your best to just keep growing. But that has definitely knocked me a couple steps back. So I really, I'm trying to stay true to myself and my health and take care of my body mentally and physically and, take things one step at a time. So now I feel like I've conquered through trial and error, almost dying, feeling like I was dying when I got sick, is to, try to live life in balance. Mm-hmm. Don't overwork myself, take it slow. Even now that I'm getting back in shape, I'm going to try to get lean again. I'm not going to try to rush it. I'm not going to go into extreme caloric deficits and starve my body. I want to make sure I do it in a healthy, steady pace so that those results can last and I don't take steps back. So that's where I'm at. I feel like I'm growing up and ready to not be an extremist. Take it easy.
Fantastic. Well, some great advice. I've certainly learned a lot, and I'm like you. I'm probably those sort of like extreme one ways.
Yeah,
and,
man.
And you think you're invincible, and you think you can keep doing it. Fortunately, I've not yet had COVID, but I probably what you've said is going to get me to stop doing some of those crazy.
Take vitamin D, bro. Take
From
vitamin D.
Eric, thank you so much for your time.
It was great. Thanks for having me. You guys take care.
Thank you. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, then please go over to iTunes and subscribe to the Escape Your Limits podcast. Leave a review, leave a comment. It really would help us a lot to continue to keep these going.